Elon Musk's radical job cuts at Twitter.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk
has now completed his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter after months of legal battles.
After he acquired the company in 2022, sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley. Musk axed over 80% of Twitter's workforce, which led to protests inside and outside the company. Very soon, however, it became the blueprint for tech giants seeking to slash costs. And over the last 2 years, there has been a bloodbath in tech jobs globally, with companies cutting thousands of jobs at a time. But is this just about cutting costs? Or did the fear of missing out during the pandemic's hiring boom make it easier for these giants to trim the fat now? And where is the pressure coming from for tech companies to push for such massive cuts? Let's dive into the domino effect Musk's Twitter bloodbath unleashed on the tech world. Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter was a tumultuous affair that began in April 2022 when he disclosed purchasing over 9% of Twitter's shares, initially being offered a board seat, which he declined. Instead, Musk made a bold offer to buy Twitter for $44 billion, aiming to transform it into a private company where he wanted to uphold free speech principles. On acquiring Twitter, Musk quickly implemented drastic changes, including slashing over 80% of the workforce, which he justified by claiming that many employees did not add significant value. This massive layoff was part of Musk's strategy to cut costs and steer Twitter towards profitability. Musk argued that such cuts could increase productivity, a sentiment he shared publicly, suggesting that other Silicon Valley firms could benefit from similar actions. The layoffs, however, led to significant legal challenges, with former employees accusing Twitter of violating labor laws. The impact of these firings was profound, not only reducing Twitter's workforce from 7,500 to about 1,500 employees, but also sparking a broader conversation about employment practices in the tech industry. Elon Musk's aggressive layoffs at Twitter have inadvertently become a model for other tech companies looking to cut costs and improve productivity. Musk's actions highlighted what he perceived as inefficiencies within large tech organizations, suggesting that significant staff reductions could enhance productivity without harming operations. And this perspective resonated with other tech firms, particularly those under financial pressure or those seeking to streamline their workforce after overhiring during the pandemic. Companies have taken note of Musk's willingness to make deep cuts, viewing it as a potential strategy to meet financial targets and address economic challenges, despite the backlash and legal issues that followed his methods at Twitter. So, what has been the scale of job losses over the last couple of years? Well, since the actions at Twitter, several major tech companies have experienced significant job cuts as they grapple with economic challenges and the aftermath of overexpansion during the pandemic. Meta, for instance, laid off 11,000 employees in November 2022 alone, marking its first major headcount reduction since its founding. Amazon announced a reduction of 18,000 jobs, mainly targeting its stores division and HR, as part of efforts to address the rapid hiring spree during the pandemic. Google got rid of 12,000 employees in 2023 alone, representing 6% of its global workforce, cutting jobs amid slumping ad sales. Meanwhile, Microsoft laid off thousands as part of a broader industry trend. Intel too faced layoffs, recently announcing 15,000 losses as it navigated declining demand and economic uncertainties. These layoffs reflect the need to adjust to a post-pandemic economic landscape and to meet financial targets in an environment of declining revenues. Apple is the one exception, and in contrast, has managed to avoid severe job losses compared to its peers. While the company has faced challenges, most importantly a fall in demand for its flagship product, the iPhone, it hasn't resorted to the same level of workforce reductions. One reason for this could be Apple's more cautious hiring strategy during the pandemic, which may have prevented the overexpansion seen in other tech giants. But how do the tech companies talk about the swathes of jobs they are cutting and the reasons for this? In early 2023, at the start of when jobs were being cut, and before a lot of the more recent cuts, this is what the leaders of the biggest tech companies in the world said about the job cuts they were enforcing. At Meta, CEO Mark Zuckerberg said, "At the start of COVID, the world rapidly moved online, and the surge of e-commerce led to outsized revenue growth. Many people predicted this would be a permanent acceleration that would continue even after the pandemic ended. I did too, So I made the decision to significantly increase our investments. Unfortunately, this did not play out the way I expected. Google commented by saying, over the past 2 years, we've seen periods of dramatic growth. To match and fuel that growth, we hired for a different economic reality than the one we face today. Microsoft said, as we saw customers accelerate their digital spend during the pandemic, we're now seeing them optimize their digital spend to do more with less. Amazon talked about consolidation as the way forward, saying, as you know, we continue to face an unusual and uncertain macroeconomic environment. In light of this, we've been working over the last few months to further prioritize what matters most to our customers and the business. After a deep set of reviews, we recently decided to consolidate some teams and programs. And Daniel Ek at music streaming company Spotify said, like many other leaders, I hope to sustain the strong tailwinds from the pandemic and believed that our broad global business and low risk to the impact of a slowdown in ads would insulate us. In hindsight, I was too ambitious in investing ahead of our revenue growth, and for this reason, today, we are reducing our employee base by about 6% across the company. What's clear from the comments is that hiring ahead of the curve in anticipation of more demand is what's led to a lot of the problem. Tech companies have often overhired due to the fear of missing out on talent and market opportunities, particularly during the pandemic when demand for digital services surged. This aggressive hiring strategy led to bloated workforces as firms tried to stay competitive against rivals, which is what's being corrected right now. And whilst it's interesting that AI by and large is not being blamed for the job losses, there is one thing that the tech companies are not talking about for reasons for the cuts, and that is the impact of Wall Street. Big tech companies often react to Wall Street's expectations. As a result, these companies are under constant pressure to deliver strong earnings and growth figures to justify their high valuations and maintain investor confidence. This focus on meeting Wall Street's expectations often drives strategic decisions such as cost-cutting measures or shifts in business priorities to ensure they align with investor demands and market trends. More recently, revenue per employee is an important metric for Wall Street when evaluating big tech companies because it provides a clear indication of a company's efficiency and productivity. By measuring how much revenue each employee generates, investors can assess whether a company is effectively utilizing its workforce to drive financial performance. This metric helps identify whether a company is expanding its headcount strategically to grow the business or merely increasing costs without corresponding revenue gains, which is crucial for making informed investment decisions. So for a tech company, presenting well on this metric can make a big difference to the level of confidence Wall Street has in the stock, which can boost market cap, which is what all management teams are incentivized on. At a time when revenues are not growing strong enough, cutting employees drastically is the best way for them to improve the revenue per employee. At the end of the day, it's too easy to just look at the job losses and academically explain what's happening. Each job loss results in a life being upended. Either it's someone with decades of experience behind them, who has a family and real responsibilities that they need to watch out for, or it's a fledgling career in the making with those just starting in the workforce. Either way, it's real people with real lives who bear the brunt of the impact whilst the tech companies get their house in order. For the moment though, it looks as though Elon Musk's playbook of massive cost cutting is a driving paradigm in big tech, which means we may continue to see more job losses yet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy hearing about stories in tech and you want to support us in our show, the best thing that you can do is to subscribe. See you for the next one.